Hello and welcome to Call a Spade, the David Spade Identification Podcast. You're right
I
there.
think I had a stroke.
Don't worry.
Do I smell spade?
For those listening at home, a stroke is not David Spade. A stroke is not David Spade. I've got so many fake podcast names too. You have no idea. Like, I don't know what happened, but it's like that little bit of my brain that is a combination of dad's weird spoonerisms and mum's pet names that like just constantly going off on shit like this for no valuable reason. And it was just like, what's fun? Like podcasts that don't exist.
All in my head is gone. You call that a spade? This is a spade.
Yeah.
And it's got a little tiny David Spade in his hand.
Yeah. A scale model.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1-to-1.
Dude.
I don't even know how tall he is. For all I know, he's 6 feet. I mean, he isn't.
This
like,
giant David Spade will devour us all.
Yeah. The giant David Spade that's like 5'11". Well, careful.
We are back on the round the twist journey. That is the twist, you see?
Round the twist is also not David Spade.
Unfortunately. Do you reckon does he owns a deck of playing cards where all the spades in the suit are like pictures of him on them?
I think I might send him one.
Yeah.
That's relatively easy.
Yeah. Okay. So, episode 5 of season 2. This one's called Nails.
It starts with a torn photo of Linda and some guy being nailed back up to a wall.
And then the title screen
is nails. In nails. Like hammer nails.
The funny thing is, this has nothing to do with the episode at all.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those ones where I feel like some of the original focus of the story, and like I think it was cut for good reason, or at least like sort of condensed for good reason. You know, like, because the other episodes really, really, really hinged on the fucking play on words. Like, that was it. It was that fucking, like, yep, it's gotta be fucking this. Whereas this one, it's there, but it's not as, like, just fucking massaged into your face. So, kudos. I mean, let's, you know.
So, we start this episode with a new boy arriving at school. And he's wearing one of those old-style flat straw hats.
Yeah, so like Australian private schools maintain some of the hilarious traditions of, you know, the colony's attempts to ape, you know, English aristocracy. And among them is hilarious private school boy uniforms. And it's a little suit that your little gentleman wears and a silly straw hat.
Best part about these suits is they often pair them with shorts.
Oh yeah, no,
which is like ridiculous.
I know. It's like, yeah, it's summer, so we don't want the children to be wearing like a 3-piece suit in, you know, 35-degree heat. We'll let them, you know, well, they still have to wear the singlet, undershirt, vest, and jacket. But you can wear some like higher than the knee shorts today, bucko. Yeah, like, and the second you see this guy, it's like, why are they sending this poor thing to a public school?
The best part is like they start razzing on him for his look, like the bullies.
I mean, yeah, like straight away. Take the hat
as
off
you
at
do,
least.
and they're like, you know, what sort of uniform's that? For what place? He's like, oh, this is the uniform at Central College. Okay, why are you going to this school and you're in the uniform for another school?
Central College.
That's weird. Also, we generally don't use the word college in Australia, especially not
They've started doing it a lot more as a way of pretending they're improving public schools without actually having to do it.
That's so fucking stupid. But back in the 90s, that wasn't a very
No, it was a private school thing.
Yeah.
It was like public schools were public schools. No, you know, the private schools would refer to themselves as colleges.
I refer to them as a collage to annoy them. Oh, you go to the collage? Yes. And
Snapper's impressed, naturally.
Of course, he's a snappy dresser. Looks like one to follow the rules.
Gets introduced in class and the bullies offer to show him the, quote, ropes. And the entire time this is going on, Linda's like staring at him and there's like what the subtitles described as angelic, you know, singing, which I've now it's just a horny girl music. I'm just assuming that's what women hear when they're horny. Why they don't listen when you tell them not to bite you.
What's that? I heard bite you.
Yeah, that's literally all like fucking. It's all that gets picked up. Please don't bite me any harder. Ouch.
Yeah, Linda's giving him the fuck me eyes hard.
It's just. But I mean, look, good for her.
They're saying that there's a school play.
Yeah, here we have that like classic useful thematic connection. You know, like the way Batman villains will always have like a really convenient name to go with like whatever their new power is.
Yeah.
Like just once I want to see
I'm the bong ripper.
yeah, and my name is Toke Weed.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh shit, mate, do you think he's going to fall into a giant radioactive bong?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like, just once I want to see a guy show up with scythes and his thing's all scythes and his name's just Jeff. My name's Jeff. Well, I suppose it had to happen once. So, yeah, we cut after the little school, moment to out front the lighthouse, and Linda is running lines for a play with Pete. And yeah, the play involves a kiss. And then Pete teases her about having never kissed anybody, and then Linda lies about having had a kiss. And then Bronson observes that only
didn't she
dorks kiss
someone
girls.
in like a dream? Does that count?
No, it does not. I'm sorry for everybody listening. You're still a virgin.
Yeah, I don't know if it's hard to tell if the dreams in the show are like
There's
manifestations of reality or.
I mean, has she? I don't.
I
Oh
don't
wait,
know.
that's right. There was
yeah.
the fucking. Did she kiss him?
I can't remember. That was
anybody-
season 1. That was a different Linda.
Yeah, that was a separate Linda, but I feel like she didn't because it turned out he was a dick.
Yes, you're right.
I think she was pining over him.
That's
but,
correct. Yes.
That was dumb little girl love. This is
To which
horny 14-year-old girl love.
Bronson doesn't like and says that like kissing girls is for dorks.
Only dorks kiss girls
That's
was the exact line. Which is,
color me a giant dork then, Bronson.
But by itself, perfectly innocent. You just want to don't chuck in the line, but bros suck dicks.
Bronson's a real bro.
Yeah. Like, just classic aggressively masculine gay.
This is the part that just kind of weirded me out. And this part was, I think, disconnected from literally every single piece of the episode and did not need to be in. And that was Matron and Mr. Gribble rocking up.
Gribble's, jogging to lose weight.
Yeah.
For his Senate run.
Yeah, and he's in like just a suit jogging.
Yeah.
Matron's cycling on a bike.
And is screaming at him and chasing him.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of Punch Out. Like, it's like Matron stole my Gribble. Like, she is hounding him, and Gribble does not want to be doing this. And I don't blame him because it does look horrendous. But, I mean, on the look, he's going to lose weight. Like, if you've got Matron on a fucking,
I don't think he's going to lose it. I think it's just going to go elsewhere. It's just going to redistribute.
It just all scooches down to one buttock, and not even like the whole buttock, like just like a corner. There's just like a fist coming out of his
forehead
cheek.
fat kind of guy,
He really, he's got
Like
that
if
John
he-
C. Reilly gut roll on his head.
Yeah.
I bet there's like a fucking belly button on John C. Reilly's forehead that we just haven't discovered.
It's an innish.
It's another tum-tum.
Uh,
His nose is the outie.
and then that's they come up and say a bunch of shit to the twist and then leave.
Yeah, that's kind of like that. Oh yeah, here's the plot arc moment.
Yeah.
Where like, don't forget all this stuff. And I feel like honestly, like
They weren't in the episode at all.
No,
apart from
I don't
this.
think it intruded that much, if only because they do just roll up at the house a lot. They were sort of jogging, so it's like, all right, maybe there's a reason for them to be around the cliffs. But yeah, there was no, this is all we see of Gribble, which is a little bit unusual. Normally, if we see Gribble at the start, it means Gribble. We're getting some
Gribble, We're
getting some Gribble.
I feel like I got Gribbless, and I feel like we were robbed.
And so Linda has an awkward conversation with Dad.
It is like Tony's the kind of guy that you don't want to be having these conversations with.
Yeah, because he's a combination of very earnest, but still unbelievably awkward and ill-informed. Like, we'll go to the bra shop. And like, look, I don't even have tits, but like, I know that that's not what you want to hear from your dad. And I also know that there's not just a place called the bra shop. Like, because I understand the male approach, because they'd just be in a big bucket at Bunnings if, like, this was a thing, you know. And that's, like, again, that's,
Well, you got bras and things, which is the closest.
I suppose,
But
yeah.
that's and things. It's not just bras.
I mean, though, if I were like a dad looking in the fucking, you know, yellow pages back then, like, all right, where do I get fucking some titty holsters? It's okay, B for bras, all right, bras and things. And it's like, that's pretty good, because your daughter can look at bras and you can check on your supply of things.
Imagine like we had Woolworths, right? A supermarket. But as you walk in and the first aisle from the first to the last one, it's all alphabetical order. That'd be fucking madness.
That would be kind of, no, see, I'd like that.
But it would be good, wouldn't it? Because like it doesn't matter if things are in the wrong spot because they're always alphabetical.
Yeah, the problem is though then like the terminology used. Because Australia still uses the term haberdashery, which is butt fuck insane.
Where
so
do
like
we
I don't
use
want to
that?
go to like fucking these stores like Lincraft and shit.
Oh.
Like all these stores, it's still like the word haberdashery for like, you know, bed sheets and fucking fabric you're going to make a dress out of or whatever the fuck.
Right. Haberdashery.
Yeah. And like, because that's hard too, because, you know, I find outside of the obvious, I found the whole bra thing really, really fascinating because there's a lot to it, you know, because a lot of women don't know the correct bra size for them, and it, you know, it fucking causes like pain and discomfort and hassle and whatnot. Like, and because, you know, there's engineering involved, you know, and I find that fascinating. And, you know, women do appreciate it when you know stuff about their shit until you know more stuff about their shit and then they hate you. But yeah, so it's like, all right,
That's
well,
why
we'll
I
get
never talk about my interests because all I will talk about is destiny.
Oh yeah, no, I never talk about like that's like something the modern generations could learn is like you should keep some of your hobbies just not a dark secret necessarily, but just shut up.
There's a time and a place.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna talk. I know not to talk to people about like, you know, especially like you know just random fucking women I mainly don't know. Like women have to pry my hobbies out of me, and it's like I remember a girlfriend once going, "I want to learn Street Fighter." No, you don't. I know you're doing this because you want to. This is a gesture that this is a roundabout way of expressing care for me. You could just skip this. You do not want to do this. Trust me.
I'd want to see it. But
Yeah.
I'm a sadist, so.
Well, like it's like you aren't going to enjoy this.
No.
And I'm not saying it's like I'm just going to beat her and shit.
No,
but, like,
but it's not going to be an enjoyable experience. It's not the experience they think that it's going to be. It's not going to sit down then suddenly, oh, you're going to bond over this. No, it's a versus game, a highly competitive versus game that you've played for 30 years.
Yeah. And like, even if me teaching you is going to be slow and annoying, and you're going to realize that you don't actually enjoy this hobby. And it's like, yeah, every couple needs just 3 reality shows they can watch together. And that's basically it. Because, you know, bitches love ripping on other bitches on TV. And you just let them go. And then you're fucking golden.
So yeah, we cut back to the school. And they're doing auditions for the play.
This is a weird scene, I find.
And it is. Mr. Snapper's like, okay, everyone pair up. Boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl.
Yeah.
And some of the girls are standing around waiting for boys to approach them. And nearly every single boy that approaches, they're telling, oh, get lost. Yeah, no chance.
Well, Gribble's getting that. Gribble and Tiger are just getting fended off. Some girl makes a beeline for Rabbit.
And he is oblivious.
Oh, yeah. Like, he fumbles this ball fucking terribly, but she's still like...
No one wants to pair up with Gribble and Tiger. So Grib says across the room, Ty, to which Tiger says, no tonguesies.
No tongues.
Oh,
it's
no
the
tongues.
funny.
That's
It's such a good. Just no tongues. It's the funniest fucking delivery. It's great. But like, just Snapper there going, all right, all of you fucking 13 or 14-year-olds, you're going to be playing the 2 lovers, and he's just going to stand there and wrangle them to make out in front of him.
Yeah, because they're all doing the makeout scene, and.
The Snapper says to the children, I want unbridled passion, and then gets kids to kiss in front of him.
Now he pairs up Andrew and Linda because they haven't got anyone, and he goes, yes, that will make a nice pair. And to which Gribble says, yeah, nice pair of gloves. I'll grab those later. And it's like, What?
Yeah, I know that was a weird.
That was one of the weird. The way
'cause
he
it
said
also
it.
doesn't go anywhere.
No, the way he delivered it. It's
yeah.
like, oh, maybe they're going to play a prank on this new boy and take his gloves.
Which would have made sense, sort of,
Yeah.
like considering what's going on.
I think it might have actually done. They might have done that in the book, possibly, because I remember reading the book.
Because like, I'm completely okay with this. Like, it's not like I don't think he's grooming them or whatever, but like, generally, it's not a good idea to play the exciting game of like pair up the pubescence because it's going to force a lot of like awkward social points that are going to be ultimately disruptive to your educational environment.
I don't think Mr. Snapper's a good teacher.
Oh, no.
I think he is a agent of chaos sent to sow discord. And
he learned to teach from like, probably before the 70s.
He's quite upset he can't use the cane anymore.
Yeah, so his idea of teaching is just to say something at a child and bash it when it doesn't repeat it.
Oh, like, the Hamada style of.
Yeah, that's a fundamentally inefficient form of education.
Absolutely.
And, believe me, this is a well-tested theory. If it worked, we'd know. And just, yes, I wrote Tiger and Gribble bringing the representation. And then as they go out, Snapper just says, and it's not focal, but you can hear him just go, I see.
Yes, because he's like, because he sees the two boys and they're boys. They're not, as he said, boy, girl.
Yeah.
And it is a great delivery. I see.
And then they fake make out and Snapper says it's an abomination. Chicken. They get close.
They get pretty close. I just would have gone for it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch regular chicken to not see a car wreck. I don't watch gay chicken to not see two cherubic Australian 14-year-olds kiss.
Yeah.
Because the trick is to like, the second they do it, point at one and say that they're blushing.
Yep. Because then they will.
Yeah, and then you'll give them a debilitating, like, fucking, complex for the rest of their life. And so, the pretty boy that Linda's been eyeballing this entire time, line up to kiss in front of Snapper, and Snapper is restraining himself and not masturbating, which was good of him. And it's funny too, because I kind of like this because there's just zero. I don't think they've spoken. It's just and this is like some lessons for you kids at home. Your brain is going to tell you a bunch of stuff with like feelings that you're going to turn into words and thoughts. And the thing is, those words and thoughts are going to say a bunch of stuff about like emotions and shit that are going to make you think that it's more serious than it is. When really, it's a whole big load of chemical juice to make you horny as shit. And that is fun, but you don't want to mistake one for the other. And so that's all this is. Like, she's just seen like the prettiest boy in the world and is immediately horny. But it's like, you don't know him.
Yeah.
You might be a jerk.
They literally say hi before they start.
It's like, so again, it's okay. Infatuation's fine. Immediate horny is fine. But just don't think that that's like, some fucking, you're going to have like a Disney moment as a result of like, your genitals having a different idea about what you should be doing with your life than you do. Because they do.
What happens next? Because I've skipped a sentence here.
So they kiss. There's a great Gribble line about the kiss, which was a tender as steak, which is a solid one. And then Snapper, in a very Snapperish way, says yes. He says yes in that kind of, posh British way one might say if you just walked in on your stable hand fucking a horse. Like you've just been confronted with something that's done something to your brain chemically, and to bottle all of that up, you've just gone, yes. And that's what Snapper says. And then the thing about the private schoolboy is, he's wearing those gloves all the time, and Snapper wants him to remove them. And then we cut to Dad at school talking to Faye about getting some, like, bras for Linda. Dad's driving the kids home, but the private boy, needs to get off at the pier because he lives on an island and boats there himself.
That's right.
Yeah, and then they're on the pier, and Linda waves him off, and he's going back home in like a tiny sailboat. Like, it doesn't even have an outboard.
It's so funny.
Which I think's fucking insane. Like, I'm not a boater, but I also know that, like, if you're trying to get, like, because it's just over there. Like, we're not talking an island in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, it's one of those little bits that you can see from the fucking jetty.
Yeah.
And to their credit as well, actually, they're actually at the jetty. There's a lot of location shooting in this episode, which is
there really is.
Yeah, to its strength.
If there's something we have in Australia, it's a lot of fucking location. So may as well use it.
Yeah, welcome to Australia. Location. You want somewhere that looks kind of like Vancouver enough to film the X-Files here? Sure you do. Tiny fucking sailboat. So, where were you up to? Where did you fuck your fucking notes
I
up?
wrote the next
This
thing
is why I
wrote,
use my laptop.
Yeah, I know. Well, I usually do it manually my book, but I don't know where it is.
Right.
I wrote.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, normally you use a fucking, you do it old-fashioned style.
So I wrote ghost staircase.
All right, I can see how that would be confusing. All right, we're not there yet.
I know what that part is. I just can't remember how we got there.
That's a big just ghost staircase. That's a big jump.
It's because I was like, I'll remember all this bit in between. Guess what? I didn't.
I thought that for 4 episodes, and then just went, all right, look.
No.
You can type quick. All right, so Dad and Linda are talking at the table, and he finishes a joke in a foreign language.
Oh, that's right.
And Bronson says, Dad, I've heard that one before. And that's a weird little bit. I actually quite like that. That's some fucking
You
bizarro...
don't even see Bronson as well. He's off shot.
It's fucking off screen. So, you've heard that one before. It's like, I don't think you heard a fucking joke that ended in Russian, Bronson. I think you're lying. And then it's funny because Linda comes in and Pete gives her shit about you're in love. And she just goes, I'm not ashamed. And that's the end of that.
And then we ghost staircase.
Yeah, and then ghosts on the staircase.
Because, there's Andrew Dado ghost and the other ghost. And they're sitting there and he says, I could have had something or something if I didn't fall asleep or something. I can't remember what they said.
Well, it was a lost
talking about
love.
lost love, yeah.
I could have had some girlfriend if I had.
These ghosts have done enough peeking. They've been around. They keeps peeking on the kids and the family. I think the ghosts need to show their hand. I know it's not till later on they're building, but there's a lot of building.
There is.
I feel like it's not going to pay off.
I mean, I feel like they'll do something with it. How much? And it's that thing of it's the Half-Life 3 principle.
If it's the music again, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the other thing is we're doing, Lighthouse Ghosts again when the last thing was Lighthouse Ghosts. It's like, are these different ghosts? Are these meant to be the same ghosts?
Did these ones just rock up because the other one's left and they're like, free lighthouse.
Yeah, it's like, finally. I got the lighthouse of my dreams. And so, then it's just back to school. And then, Snapper announces that Andrew is not coming back. Which is odd. I don't think teachers do that.
No, they don't.
They don't really give you that information.
No, because that's weird private information.
Yeah, sometimes kids are just gone.
Yeah.
You're like, I wonder where they went.
Yeah.
And then,
Snapper gives out his home address, his phone number, all of his information. So Linda and Pete, Linda wants to go see Andrew.
The next shot is them in a boat.
So they're setting off in a little boat.
This one has a fucking outboard.
It does. It's actually a nice looking boat. It's like wooden and stuff. And
it isn't your classic Australian tinny. It's a...
I'd feel slightly safer in that than a tinny.
I mean, I don't know.
I say slightly safer being.
It feels like a lake boat.
Doesn't feel safe on the water at all.
Yeah, it feels like a lake boat.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like something you should have in the fucking sea.
Because all we know is if you fall in the sea, you're going to get eaten. That's how it works. We don't know what's below there.
The sea is just mouths. That's all it is.
Yeah,
everything's just a mouth with a fucking bit that makes the mouth go forward.
The monkfish, the deep sea anglerfish. We learned about those recently, and
for all we know, there's a bigger mouth at the bottom.
We've learned that humans will fall for them. That's what we've learned. Because if you imagine this, imagine you're sitting in a room just doing some work. You're at a job, and suddenly there's no light. It's pitch black, completely pitch black, and a light appears, just a nice glowy light.
Bing.
Would you go towards it? Yeah, of course you fucking would, because you're in the pitch dark. You're a human in the human world. There's nothing big and scary that puts a light out and eats humans.
I feel like they could do this, but, especially if we're talking Japanese game shows, when they get close to the light, it tilts a little bit, and it's just like Bob Sapp holding the light, and then he just slugs you in the stomach. Just one of those classic, Japanese K1 fighters are just because that, I think, is something, I'm not expecting to get, eaten by a fucking giant anglerfish.
Now I am.
Yeah, but if there's just some fucking dude under the light who punches me in the stomach, I'm like, oh, all right, okay.
Stay away from lights now.
This is where things are going now, are we? And yeah, so they get to the beach and, fucking Linda just clears her throat and Pete goes, all right, yep, and just walks off and goes, oh, what a fascinating place. Hey, is that a rock?
It is just Pete's deliveries in this episode kill me.
It's a solid balance act, this one, because it does focus. And I think that's nice because it lets you just have moments of Pete fucking around, which serves as like solid, sort of comic relief. But without the fucking, clutter of like, all right, let's give Pete a sub story.
Yeah, because Pete does not have a story in this episode at
There's
all.
nothing else going on.
No, Linda's story is pretty much the only story. So they go off to Andrew's house.
Just a shack.
And
he lives like it's not an island that's got like civilization. It's an island with a shack, and this kid's dad is studying.
It's
the
a
ghost
rock
crab.
that has grown a little bit of like
some fucking,
jungle on it.
Yeah. It's like there's a very specific kind of scraggly beach bush that you get in Australia that is fucking awful.
Oh, it's heinous.
Yeah, like it's not fucking pleasant.
The sand gets like filled with all those little like spiky bits and stuff. And like the sand's not nice and pure and nice to walk on, Soft sand, like I hate sand. I fucking hate sand. But I will walk on soft sand, like soft or hard sand. But as soon as you go, start to like, let's just say like a campsite, slightly off the beach, where you've got all the needles and twigs and stuff that mix in with the sand and create this unearthly mixture of fuck you.
Yeah, because it hasn't had the time to turn into dirt.
No.
It's just sand and this unholy cacophony of sharp things.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is just
and that
terrible.
is most of that island. I'm telling you right now.
It really is. Like, because I lived on Bribey for a little while when I was a kid, and I've been to these places, and it's just like all of that was just like, oh yeah, down to the fucking bits of like wet sand that have hit somewhere and like kind of dried, but it just stuck there.
Mm. And Andrew's dad comes in and introduces himself as Andrew's dad.
Yeah, he's kind of a weirdo feral. And he just comes into the shack. I'm Andrew's dad. Pines over a photograph of Andrew's mum, who I also describe as clearly a photo of a mermaid, and then wanders off.
He also says that he studies ghost crabs, and then he says the scientific name for them.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. It was like something weird.
Crab spectre.
Yeah. So
photo of clearly a mermaid. His mum says
dad,
Andrew.
and then just fucking like just short of punching Linda in the face, just leaves. That's the reception he gave her.
Yeah, it really. I'm Andrew's dad. Clonk, and then like it wasn't even angry at her. It's just how he says hello because he's lived in his shack on a beach his whole life, and then just wanders off. And then it's like, all right, Andrew picks up the photo of clearly a mermaid and says it's his mum and that he never knew her. And then Pete goes to bother surly dad. And
that's so funny. G'day, Mr. Sheldon. What does he say? Oh, you and your sister better be leaving this island soon.
Yeah. Like that, he just says hello and goes, you better leave soon. And then it's just like,
what a fascinating fellow as he's walking away.
And just walks off.
But he really razzes him, and the dad just like turns to look at him, and it's great.
Fucking smart ass. You want a crab? And then so like back in that house, Andrew drops something because of his gloves, and they have this like kind of serious moment over the gloves, and it sort of doesn't land. Part of it is because Andrew tries a dramatic moment that is beyond the boy's acting ability.
To be fair, he was only only in ever 8 film projects, and
this was like one of the last ones.
This was his second last one. So he was already gone.
Yeah, and so, she's like, just take him off. And, she eventually gets him to take him off. And he takes his gloves off. And he's got like 3 sets of fingernails. So there's fingernails, and then behind those are fingernails. And then behind those, more fingernails.
Yeah, just going straight up the finger. Right up the middle.
And 100% credit to the fucking whatever the ABC was doing that afternoon. Legitimately decent fucking makeup job. No complaints whatsoever. Yeah. It looks kind of gross and weird, which is sort of what they're aiming for. And yeah, if there were a kid at school with that, you'd be like, oh God, look at that.
Because he says, what kind of freak has, 3 rows of nails? 3 rows of nails. And then we
this is fun.
We go back to the mainland, and Nell is running for like local senate or whatever.
Yeah, she's running against Gribble.
And the picture on the poster is of a young, vivacious,
a much younger
Nell.
Still kind of like MILF territory age, but not like scraggly beach barnacle.
No. And her last name is Sands, which is fucking
Didn't even
bombastic.
notice that, yeah.
Nell Sands.
I was just
Nelsons.
calling her Saucy Nell.
And the Twitch Pete walks up and goes, "Oh, who's that? I'll have a go."
Yeah, that was funny. And like that doesn't
land at all.
Well, I mean, like people hear it and like they look like they're going to address it, but then it's just like, oh god, who cares?
No one wants fucking Pete wants to boink Nell. That's an episode out of season 4.
Yeah, we're just gonna let that one go.
That's actually a good question. If Nell somehow got like the fountain of youth and just woke up like Pete's age, would she jump Pete?
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat.
I think she'd jump everyone.
Yeah. I mean, you would. Like everyone would.
Yeah, let's be real.
And yeah, you'd molest Pete in a heartbeat.
He's had a lot of molesting by now. He's used to it. Okay, he likes it.
And then, hey, speaking of which, we cut to Bronson in the bathtub.
It is feet in shower caps.
Which is, look, credit where it's due. Solid, story work.
I feel like all of the story work's going to Bronson, though, which is just... I feel too much. I mean... There is too much Bronson focus.
For the long-term stuff, yeah.
Because what I kind of don't like about Bronson in this show overall is we get Bronson episodes, right? But he's not around enough in other episodes to make him kind of a standard cast star in my eyes. So they don't use Bronson as often, obviously, because he's a younger actor and everything.
His age kind of puts him in that predicament where he's not smart or mature enough to meaningfully engage in a lot of the other stories.
Exactly.
And so that
by the time we get that Bronson A story, I just feel it's too much building. And like it's not I just don't have that.
Whether or not it pays off, but like the thing I like about the shower caps on the feet is he's been made to bathe. We all know that, but they keep going on about how much his feet stink. So there will have been like, I don't know, one child maybe at home going, how the fuck does he keep his feet from stinking? And then this answered that. And so what that demonstrates to me is a remarkable amount of like thought and care went into this like fucking story idea. And look, all right, good for you. And we also get a great line in this of Linda saying, "I'm not interested in looking at small boys," when Bronson objects to her being in the bathroom with him. Unlike Nell, who will fucking cop a peek. And she's just in the bathroom to get the nail clippers.
Well, you didn't actually see, like, you only saw it slightly, but like in the corner there was a toilet. Nell's just sitting there, like eyes over the newspaper, just slightly over the top,
just staring. Staring like a gambler who's bet his whole fucking life on the next goddamn roll of the dice.
So Linda she's going in the bathroom to get the nail clippers.
Yeah.
And she ends up going back to the island by herself this time.
Not wearing a life vest in the boat.
Which is a bit...
That's not safe.
No.
Don't do that at home.
Even if you're a strong swimmer, because the thing about the ocean is you can't see currents usually.
It'll eat you.
Yeah.
So Linda finds Andrew and his dad arguing over seeing a doctor, and Dad's like, "It won't do any good," and is just being, at this point, what I'd think needlessly fucking,
He could just, tell him what's going on.
I mean, like, yeah.
Because I think the kid would understand, considering he's already mutating.
Yeah, like if there's like mutant abilities in the family, like, and it starts to manifest, what do you think keeping the secret is going to do? It's like, no, that's nothing. That's just blue fur. You're fine.
So then Andrew gets upset at Linda, who tries to help him.
Yeah.
She's just trying to help, but, he gets all huffy and shitty and tells her to nick off.
Well, yeah, and like, he pulls the gloves off and the nails are more. Like, there's like 5 rows back now. And then we get a close-up and the nails are growing, like visibly.
Yeah.
And I get credit where it's due. Solid effect shot. Like, obviously the super close-up.
It's something I've never understood. Like, I've never looked at it either, but old close-ups, the noise in close-ups is huge. Like in the camera noise. The
background hum.
Yeah, like with all the spots and shit. It's just
the
visible noise.
It's
always intrigued me because it's obviously how the lenses are and everything in the creative camera. It's a TV show, but
that and probably shooting on video at this point as well.
Yeah, it's always kind of, that's been the biggest thing for TV for me over the years, is just being able to zoom in on something and see something clearly.
Cinema quality cameras
is nuts. Yeah,
and now You have that in your fucking phone,
Yeah.
which is batshit. And yeah, like as old Amber said, nick off, which in the realms of dramatic like verbiage, not great.
No.
You know, nick off is something you say to like the cat when it's trying to have your food,
Oi,
or your
nick
little
off.
brother. Yeah,
It's my
like,
toast.
It's possibly one of the lightest forms of go away that
Yeah.
exist.
Well, I mean, short of saying fuck off and piss off, which you kind of can't
Well, I
do.
mean, just leave. Like if you just say
Yeah,
leave, like it's like
just
all right, yeah. You can say
leave.
just leave. Like it's like all right, yeah. Nick off. It's like,
It's
nick
a
off, you little
frontage language. It comes at you and it just washes over you and
nick off.
unpleasantness. It just feels. Ugh.
Yeah. So
So
they're doing
she-
the Harry and the Hendersons routine of him trying to get her to go away.
But she doesn't.
Yeah.
She comes back and gives him the nail clippers and tells. Then Dad comes in.
Well, Andrew also laughs and says, "Should have brought a pair of hedge clippers."
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Like, there you go. So you got to chuckle through it.
Yeah, and then Dad comes in and tells her that it's just going to get worse. They shouldn't like each other, and tells her it's just better for everyone if she leaves. To which she has a wishful look on her face for a moment, and then says, "Well, see you tomorrow." Which she won't see you tomorrow because a giant storm comes.
Yeah, as she's boating away, the storm kicks off, and I thought that she was gonna get like knocked out of the boat or
That's
something.
what I
but
thought too. Yeah.
She doesn't. She just she goes back home and then has to spend like, you know, the next few days of the storm.
We get some more nice location shots too, because we get Linda in the bra shop, coming out of the bra shop with Faye.
Stares out at the island.
And then we get her standing on kind of like a rocky outcrop near the jetty.
Staring out at the
And
island.
then her dad's hugging her. Then we get her staring out of her window, staring at the island. And she finally wakes up and the wind chimes are blowing and she looks out. It's all calm. So she can go and jet off to the island. But when she gets there, she knocks on the door. No one seems to answer or say anything.
No one answers or says anything, no.
And to which she then goes in, takes a short look around and then picks up the frame of the mother.
Yeah.
And then hears a noise behind her and gets scared. And it's Andrew in a wheelchair. Now, motherfucker, you're in a wheelchair. Are your ears broke?
Yeah.
I've been bashing on this door.
She knocked, said hello, walked. It's like, this, you know, when I say
She's
a
not
shack,
going away.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-bedroom place.
Yeah, well, you know, we're not talking. He wasn't in the drawing room, you know, like he wasn't, like, you know, over in the far wing of the house where the acoustics just aren't that great. He was like probably as far away from where Linda was entering as the door is to me, which is about maybe a meter. So I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to be discovered. Like there's that possibility, but they don't really kind of like do that. He just sort of like fucking just shows up in the corner in a wheelchair with like a blankie.
And his dad fucking rushes in and goes, "She's here! She's here! Come on, we gotta go!" And just bolts. Just leaves the kid in the wheelchair, might I add.
In like a, you know, and it's like, we're not talking like a fucking, you know, wheelchair that's designed for this environment. It's just a wheelchair you'd get at a hospital, like one of those skinny wheel ones.
Again, we're on this Devil Rock Island.
Yeah, there is no fucking chance in hell that thing's getting over like beach sand, even if you have the upper body to fucking really fucking grunt at it, which you would need, because there's no traction. You know, because you'd need one of those big wheel ones, like, you know, those like tricycles they have that go in the water with the giant wheels. You'd need something like that. Like, they wouldn't need to be quite as big, but like it'd need to be something around that big. The surface area you'd need not to just dig straight into the sand and be there forever is significant. And yeah, like Andrew said, like, you know, it's okay, I know what's happening. And so, you know, Dad and Andrew have at least fucking nutted this one out. And then so they get to the, like the edge of the water and Dad's just jumping around the fucking rocks.
He's a fucking idiot. To which he obviously falls in because the water gets him. And you're on an island. How are you suddenly drowned? You're a fucking ghost crab scientist and you live on an island in the middle
I think you'd be able to swim. Yeah,
Yes.
that was...
You fucked a mermaid. Where? It must have been in the water. Probably.
Something like that.
Unless you just fertilized her eggs.
So, like, then, you know, Andrew leaps into the water after and we get the underwater shot of, like, the merboy, you know, swimming away. And so his the nails on his hands have, like, coalesced into, like, a scales. And he has the full tail.
And he's got, like, Fins on his arms.
Yeah. Again,
It's good
yeah,
makeup. It's good
solid makeup
effects.
work. I mean, the tail's one of those tails that, like, you know, girls buy at like Lincraft or whatever, but like, all right, you know.
That's a bit harder.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna fucking
understand.
begrudge on that.
I'm not gonna make you go to a metallurgist
Yeah.
blacksmith to
Yeah, to fucking
chink
get
out
up,
like
yeah.
some rings to make a.
So Andrew swims Dad back to shore, and then we see Mermom reclining on the rocks a bit further out. And we get like one of a variety of weird phrases from Dad, where he's like looking at his son and he goes, "You don't have a choice, but it's okay. It's okay."
That's yeah. Sorry, son. I fucked a mermaid. Your life's over. You live in the water now.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
I haven't prepared you for what your weird, you know, subaquatic life is going to be, but, you know. And so I wrote here, Linda hornily hornies at Andrew and they hug, which is bullshit. Because, like, they lean in for the kiss and then they just hug. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And then they kiss. And, like, that's fair because I'd have had fucking serious. But you can't fucking go all about this fucking kiss and then not have fucking, you know, Linda get a goddamn kiss out of this.
Yeah. I want to know, like, still, how did he fuck the mermaid? Where is the vulva on the mermaid? Because it's got to be a vulva because she's got to have had the human anatomy to birth a child to be compatible with the father.
Yeah, I mean, that's the classic fucking debate, isn't it?
Hmm.
Because, like, the various sea mammals that people try to hump, they at least have some kind of orifice because they're mammals.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the fish doesn't because that's just not how they work.
Mm.
Like, I don't know, maybe he just fucking, you know, she sucked him off and then he busted a load onto a clutch of eggs.
Does that mean there's lots of little Andrews?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
we killed 8, but you're the one that survived.
Yeah, like, just a bunch of his brothers were eaten by, like, you know, some crabs and, like, you know, there's other stuff that's around.
Like, to be fair, I don't expect Round the Twist, G-rated TV show, to explain to me the anatomy and birthing of mer children. But
see, my series, shit's fucked, absolutely will. One episode is just going to be, what the fuck's a mermaid vulva? We're going to get into this. I'm going to consult, like, fucking Rule 34. And, you know, those girls that buy mermaid tails from stores to just hang out in.
So after the kiss, he starts swimming off with his mother. They embrace underwater.
Yeah.
Come back up to wave.
And Dad says, not many
Linda,
girls have loved a mermaid.
And to which
Linda smiles.
It's a weird ending.
It really is.
And then the father says, pissed on the cold ear.
Right. Now, before we go any further, right, you know, maybe in the comments for this, in an email, whatever, ask me what you think that is and why this is. Like, we'll tell you now, but I'm just kind of curious. You know, feel free to write it down, pause this here, have a think about what the fuck's that about. Because the show doesn't even explain it.
No.
It just kind of wallops you with this thing and then sort of just ends.
Just goes, bye.
Yeah. Toodly fucking ooh.
Have you ever? And then you're like, what the fuck just happened?
So, like, yeah, and then because I'm sort of, you know, close to that generation and shit, it's a spoonerism of kissed on a cold pier.
Which is what they say from the play, because I'll never forget that kiss.
Yeah.
On the cold pier.
And, like, okay, this is a thing that does exist in the culture, but also, why in God's name would you put that here?
Your mermaid son just ran away with your mer wife that you haven't seen for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And all you're left with is Linda, a girl you've met twice. And you turn to her and say, pissed on the cold ear. What? I see why you're out here by yourself.
This is what I mean when I say that, like, there was a period in kids programming where people just didn't care. Like, unless someone complained or unless your episode literally had, I don't know, a character named Christ Vulva in it, like, you could just do shit and no one, there's not like there was ever a table read through or anything where someone might go, hey, why is that in this? Why would he say that? I mean, I kind of understand why his dad would say that because he has not been around humans much, so he just probably doesn't understand. But
how does he know about kissed on the pier, though?
Yeah, I know. It's
like, there's so many questions.
because it's literally the line happens like a fraction of a second before the fucking theme kicks in. So you don't get a moment to go, wait, what is this? Have you ever? It's like, all right. Nah. Is there going to be another bit where we get like a fucking thing that undoes that, or we can just
Why did
unhear that
Esmond
somehow?
Storm have to die in 2011? I need to ask him fucking this.
Esmond.
Like, for reals.
Yeah, that is a shame because I feel like, I am curious, a little bit more curious about some of the humans who've.
Oh my god, look at young Snapper.
Oh, holy shit. Yep, Snapper is there. I mean, and the frustrating thing is like, that's by itself, that's not very, that's not a huge big deal. But like, the rest of the episode is so competent. It's probably one of the best episodes that they've done because it has it has focus. At no point are we going away from like Linda's hornies to, I don't know, learn about fucking Pete trying to grow a mustache or something. There's no distractions. And it does sort of lead to this thing where there's a bunch of like Chekhov's guns set up and like none of them are fired. But the focus of the episode does kind of get it past that. Like, there's the play, and you're thinking, all right, the play is going to come into it. No, it doesn't. Yeah, there's the gloves, and you think, all right, the bully is going to take the gloves. No, they don't. It's like, all right, there's maybe she'll fall off on a boat, and then he'll be a mermaid and save it. No, that doesn't happen either. But as much as none of that fairly obvious stuff happens, the stuff that does happen is very well structured and works. It all goes to one thing. Like, I like that Linda's, there's no fucking Linda being shut up. It's just like, yeah, I'm just horny for this boy. Leave me alone. It's like, you know what? I fucking can't make fun of that. There's nothing you can do to that. What can you do? And then, she gets a kiss and the fucking merboy goes off to live in like the fucking private school under the sea. I will say that the bra purchase wasn't exactly subtle. I mean, we're hammering home the puberty element there a tad, but all right. Titties show up, so does the horny.
So I looked up Esmond Storm because I just wanted to read a few things. And Esmond Storm was in a movie that you'll probably be familiar with. It's an Australian movie. Guess the movie if you can. It came out in 1988. It's a comedy.
Comedy from 88.
Yep. Australian.
Alvin Purple? No, that'd been 70s. What is it?
Young Einstein.
Oh, motherfucker. I completely forgot fucking Yahoo Serious. Like, I was going really obscure.
And it's the funny thing because I usually say Yahoo Serious nearly every episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was in that, and he played, where was it?
Is he one of the scientists?
He played Wilbur Wright.
I think that was one of the other scientists.
So that's interesting. A little bit tidbit about Esmond Storm.
I think technically every Australian actor from around that period was in Young Einstein.
Pretty much, yeah.
I
think there was only a cast of like 28, and that was literally all of them.
Yeah, every Australian actor at that point.
Oh, 65 cast. My bad. That's
and some New Zealand
actors.
That's
a lot of people.
That's pretty good.
Pee Wee Wilson was in it.
How's there more than one person called Pee Wee?
I don't know. And he's like kind
I
of a
look up the origins of
Pegan-esque.
that as a name.
Look at him.
Yeah, that's fascinating because he sort of looks like Pee Wee's seedy cousin from like the wrong side of the tracks.
He looks like Petey.
But Pee Wee's already
Pee-wee
that.
had a baby with Adam Sandler. That's the
It does
Sandler
look
Pee
like
Wee.
Sandler Pee Wee. Yeah, that's when they're at the nut house. All right, so this is the part where we have to ask the horrifying question.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we do. We do, Amber, because have you ever felt like this? Okay, have you ever felt like this? Question number 1. Have you ever been bullied for a weird physical thing, or had someone you knew or at school who was? School freaks.
I don't think so.
It's kind of interesting what gets bullied and what doesn't. Because there was a kid in my year 1 class who had a 6th finger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was just like, huh.
Hmm.
You know, no one was like kind of weirded out by that, or no one made fun of him. It never came up.
Hmm. I honestly don't think so. I didn't get bullied much. So I don't, yeah. Not that I can remember anyway, but like it's all pretty blurry and hazy.
All gone. So there was the kid with the 6th finger. I think if there was anything else. I mean, there were a bunch of like just not properly attended children with learning disorders. But
Mm,
again, that was another one of those ones where like even the weird good and the ferals just like kind of didn't fuck with him.
right.
Because I mean, like generally it was just seen, it was seen as like low fruit. Even when that was just like, why are you fucking picking on the
Yeah.
goddamn? And also like every now and then one would go batshit and need an adult to subdue them. And so I think there was also just like a healthy fear of like, all right, what if I start something I can't finish? Which would have been fucking hilarious to goddamn say. Yeah, what was this? Ben had a 6th finger. I think that was kind of it.
Mm,
I mean, most of what people got bullied for were like just trivial things,
right.
really. Like with me, it was because I read. There was a girl who came to school once with like, you know, those hats with the little flap. There was what looked like a skid mark on the back of the flap.
Whoo, no.
Yeah, and someone called a skid flap. And like
Oh, how long did that stick?
years, like
Oh, no.
like that's some of the most vicious. Like people were
I
excited
wonder what
to see her.
skid flaps up to these days.
I don't know. I hope.
I hope they're not called skid flap anymore.
No, I hope. I really like purely because of what I saw. I really hope she's having a nice life.
Yeah.
Because this was harsh.
Skid flap.
Like, yeah, skid flap. And like, all right, someone. The problem is someone nailed the nickname. You know,
Yeah.
like if it. You know what can you? Oh, you know, 6 finger fucking fellow, or you know, that's you know, it's the wild thing because a 6 fucking finger is a legitimate fucking mutation, but like just nobody. Nobody even really fucking noticed,
No.
you know? Like, no one gave a shit. So, like, you see a kid in glasses, like, oh, I'm gonna make fun of that fucking kid. It's like, all right, that guy's got, like, ultimately what is really an invisible fucking, you know, thing. Like, eyes don't work good. Maybe it's the lenses. Maybe, like, my dad's got astigmatism, so the eyes aren't the right shape. And then there's, like, just this, where one day, I don't know, there was just, like, a fucking mark on the kid's fucking hat. And then it's just like, yeah, it's just like, oh, look, someone wiped their ass with your hat, skid flap, and then just... fucking
The
hell,
origin
like,
of skid flap.
yeah, like it was like
I really hope they,
other
as
grades
you
got in on
said,
this.
went on to live a good life and didn't end up blowing their brains out. Because it could go either way.
I mean, I don't know. Like, girls try to commit suicide, they mostly don't. And also, guns are hard to come by. Like, you're not going to buy a gun in Australia just to kill yourself.
Very true.
You know, that's expensive. You can fucking go to a shop.
You're not going to pass a mental health check
Oh,
anyway.
fuck no. Not going to use this to kill yourself, you skid flap. So, I don't know. I mean...
Skid flap. I can't stop laughing at it. I understand why they hounded her. And I
Yeah.
feel bad, but I'm still laughing.
Like...
skid flap.
The energy, like, because it lasted for years. It wasn't constant. Like, there was like a week where the first time it was just like, again, you know, fucking other grades. Like, just like crowds would turn to look at her and shit. Like, it was, she suddenly became like one of the most famous kids in the school. And like, it did die down, but then just every now and then it would just sort of come back like some kind of weird collective memory would just
imagine like if
flare
the
up.
teacher calling it skid flap. That would be like just a line that would be.
I'm 100% certain some teachers just did, not to her face,
yeah,
but
yeah,
like,
of course,
you know,
of course.
they'd referred to her as like skid
Have you
flap.
been hearing what the kids have been saying about that kid? Yeah, that's skid flap.
Yeah, oh, you mean skid flap? Because I mean, I was in high school once, and like a girl in one of my like like cit ed, like, sociology, like citizenship education. It's like social studies. Like, the last name was like Pizzic, and I called it Piss Stick. And people kept calling her that, and then one day the teacher called her it, and that was a fucking critical mistake.
Did the teacher's eyes, like, as soon as they said it, did they go wide?
Yeah, like it just kind of slipped out.
Oh, did they get fired?
No, I mean, like, this wasn't like the days when you could get fired over something like that at best.
True.
And B, it was a genuine mistake, and he did mean well. And so, like, he just, like, he spoke to her like an adult and, like, apologized and was like, it was all pretty, like, it smoothed over in a lot of ways better than I think, like, you could hope for in doing something like that. But, like, the incident happened, it was just like, because everyone in the room knew. It was like, what the fuck just happened? And, like, that makes it worse. Because, like, sometimes if something weird happens, you can just, like, if something follows that up quickly, you can just, okay, the record skipped, we just pretend none of that happened. But this just, dark. All right, we all have to fucking face this reality now. Have you ever acted in a school play or anything else?
Yes.
Oh, what'd you do?
In English, we did a play. I think it might have been Macbeth. I think I was Macbeth. I got a good rating for it. I know I got like an A or a B.
You starred in like the fucking school play of Macbeth. I was like, oh yeah, I got to be a shrub. That was it. This is now a more interesting story than I was expecting.
Because like it's not really an interesting story. I just remember like not wanting to do it at first, and then the teacher's like, "No, just get up and try it." And then I did it. She's like, "You're really good with it," and I'm like, "Oh shit, now I have to do things."
Father can't know I'm good at that.
He already calls me gay enough as it is.
I mean, do you not recall at all? This is nuts.
No, it wasn't like a school play. It was like an English class play. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Because if I had to go up in front of the school, I would remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had to do like,
it was just like
do a scene.
Yeah,
sort of thing,
essentially.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, like it's weird because like I did drama and like film and television and stuff like that, but like I'd always avoid anything to do with like much in the way of the actual performance. Like I could deliver a monologue. But
So my thing was participation. I hate forced participation.
Yeah.
Like I abhor it. Like I can't stand it. And that is literally all school is for most of it.
Do this. I really don't want to. Too bad.
Yeah.
The sad thing is now is like they're better with that where they have like, because they're trying not to make people who might be like fucking, I mean, like, look, there is utility in enforcing kids to be exposed to shit because you have to, like, you just have to, like, and some stuff it's like, yeah, believe it or not, you do have to know how to talk to people and like read and write and shit. Like that's important.
That's very important.
And like, it's useful, because you can't, especially a child, like has no real like grasp of what they're good at or what they might be good at or how to overcome, anxiety and nervousness and problems and things like this are like, good for that.
Yeah.
But like that takes a kind of, deft artist's touch and not just fucking get up there or you'll fail.
Yeah.
You're not really addressing, you're not teaching, you're not using this moment to teach quite in the way that it's supposed to. Yeah, no, I didn't I didn't like any of the acting, but I did we did have to do for like senior, we did have to do like a whole fucking play, like in groups. So there was like groups of 6 that had to do a whole play. And I wrote the play.
Right.
And then brilliantly wrote myself the least amount to doing it.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I got an A for that, actually.
Okay.
And for the performance, which was good. Because again, it's in the background of everything. I didn't have to do shit. No one picked up on that either. Like, literally every other character had a monologue except me.
That's insane.
I know. Like, I was like, I can't believe I fucking got away with that.
It was just you probably just wrote it so good that it just overcame the, I guess, downside of having small acting part.
Yeah. Wow, I'm on the page. Nice and easy. Let's see. I think that was about it. I was an extra in a friend's film once.
That's cool.
Yeah, but he died of like stomach cancer before he bothered to edit the film. And bear in mind, this was like, he died of stomach cancer 8 years after he finished the film. He just never edited it.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
How old was he?
Like, fucking, I think about our age.
Fuck,
Yeah,
man.
he was around our age. It was a fucking, well, fucking, so-and-so's gone. That was a bummer. That's why
Fuck cancer.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm going to the doctor next week to get another weird thing on me looked at just in case. It's probably nothing, but if it's on a bit of me that gets sun, it's like I'm not taking chances on this one.
Yeah, I gotta get that thing looked at.
Yeah. It's at the gotta get that looked at part of the fucking lifespan, It's like, what's that? Oh, that could be something.
That's pretty much my whole insides. Like, just look at everything.
Yeah.
Just test everything. Jab me with everything. Do it all at once. Like, let's save some time here. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to come back every single week to get a new test. Because I can't eat anything at the moment, really. Well, I can, but I won't feel very good.
You can eat like a few things.
Yeah.
Comfortably.
Because like I started eating nothing but like white rice because apparently brown rice is really bad for you.
That's nuts. Because like if you'd asked me before that, I'd have been, what's better, brown or white?
100%.
It's got to be brown. Yeah,
100%.
Because what's the point of all that stuff if you're not getting like the roughage and the bits and bobs and the vitamins?
Well,
it all live in the skin for some
reason. But I can't really digest brown rice properly.
That's funny.
So I was just shitting it out, and I've stopped eating as much and just try to cleanse. And it's like, after I go to the toilet and have a bowel movement, I'm like, are you supposed to feel like this? Is this how normal people feel all the time? Oh, yeah. No, something's been really wrong for a very long time.
Excellent. All right. Last question. First kiss.
Oh, shit. I'm fucking boggled the old brain box for this one.
Was it before that time you were molested by a MILF or after?
That's what I'm trying to work out. It was before.
Uh-huh.
I remember...
By another party MILF?
No, it was...
Was she the karaoke?
That was...
remember.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, because I know somebody who hooked up with a pinball enthusiast, and I get those two things mixed up sometimes.
That's great.
Oh,
I wish it was me.
That was a story.
But no,
Ow.
Excellent. What was the first kiss? It was... I remember I think... Was I 17 or 18 at the time? I was one of them.
Yeah.
And I'd gone onto like dating apps because I was young, and there weren't apps back there; it was just websites. And
that's fucking crazy.
Because like I didn't know how to meet women. Most of the women I knew were fucking stupid, and like from school and stuff. And you don't tend to want to see any of those people that you've been not liking for the past 6-8 years or whatever. So it's like, how do you meet people? Well, and then she came over, picked me up, and we went for a drive. And after we drove around for a bit, when she came and dropped me home, we made out. I remember that.
Just drove around?
Yeah, we just drove around.
How old was she?
I think she was around 20.
How old are you?
21, around 17, 18.
Huh.
I've always been with the older ladies.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Not by choice, it just happens.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying you're going out there. I mean, just in general, it's just odd that, like, it would never have occurred to me. I mean, they didn't exist when I was 17. But, like, it's just wild that would be even that successful to me,
Oh, I know. I'll literally, I've only ever had success again on one other
Because I have known some, like,
then.
girls who like punching V cards. And look, power to them. But, like... I suppose at the time, yeah, they were like 25, so yeah. All right. None of them were fucking around when I needed them. Oh god, I remember mine because there's a solid fucking story behind it that like really, 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 like, so there was this girl in my school who was like not hard fundy, but like quite Christian,
right?
And that meant I liked annoying her because it's just. Because, like, there's only so many times when, like, you can just sort of really annoy someone just being you and not even doing anything involving them. And then they, sort of talk to you about some stupid Jesus bullshit. But it's just like, all right, look, You know, it's that thing of like, don't give me power over you and then complain about how I use it because I'm going to punish you. And so then it was just like, all right, well, if you're going to involve yourself in my fucking day, then I'm going to start involving myself in your day. And that's really easy because it's, you know, staggeringly easy to set you off. And so it was like, I think it was like somewhere between 17 or 18. It was after school had finished. And I was at a party and managed, like, because this was at the time when I wasn't drinking. Like, I didn't really drink. I smoked a lot of weed, which is not great if you have anxiety. And I go into a party, this is like, oh yeah, this is a great way to like fucking, open you up and talk to people. But like a friend of mine who drank a lot was there and was like fucking managed to pester me into drinking just enough to fucking, I managed to drink just enough to loosen up and to not get fucked up, which was, back for, 17-year-old me with like no fucking, ability to process alcohol was a fucking razor thin fucking margin to fucking nail. And so there was that. So I was like quite gregarious and sociable, which was, the opposite of what the case usually was. Where like just I'd be silent for most of the time, and then every now and then I'd say something that would make everybody laugh, and then I just wouldn't say anything again for the rest of the night. So yeah, and then so this, Jesus girl was at the party, and she had a cousin who was also, I think, like quote a Jesus girl, but that had just turned her into an absolute trollop, which was fucking great, and like. So there was a moment where like they were leaving and she was really annoyed, like, because her cousin had been paying attention to me all fucking night. And this was just pissing her off. And that is like just an aphrodisiac to me. Like, this is just fucking, I'm loving this. And so, her cousin's talking to me and then she loudly, plants her fucking hands on her hips and goes, "Oh my God, you're coming on to Gabe." And the cousin just whips around and glares at her, whips around back at me, kisses me, and then goes, "Fine, we can fucking leave," and then just wanders off.
Excellent.
Yeah. I did not get her number or follow up because I am an idiot. And wacky question for this week. How do you think mersex works?
Oh, finally!
Be specific.
Fucking up to the plate I come. Been studying dugong fucking for years just for this part. No, actually, I honestly don't know. I'd imagine that there is some sort, like the tail has to have a fold in it or something. Like there has to be like some sort of.
It'll just be like a fucking.
Or it just fertilizes the eggs.
Yeah, you're either nutting on a big. I mean, there's got to be some kind of hole for the eggs to come out of.
Yeah. Because there's also going to be a hole where they defecate.
Yeah.
Because.
And if life's taught me anything, humans aren't picky.
Yeah.
So there'll be some kind of. Yeah, I'd imagine if there's some kind of flap for the butt, there'll be like, that could be a minge flap,
Or
they
just fuck them in the butt.
Yeah.
It's one hole for everything.
That's like the birds.
Very efficient, very efficient
birds
species.
just have like the fucking.
Fuck, I wish I just had one hole.
The omni hole. Yeah.
No ears, no eyes, no nose, no mouth. Just one hole. We are one.
Gaze into all hole. I don't wanna.
It's just a face that's just like completely blank, except for like just a massive. It's the Rolling Stones, their big mouth. That's it, just on someone's face.
It reminds me of that weird because there's those very formal Japanese ghost stories, which are basically a guy walking along a road at night and sees a weird thing, and one of them's just like a fucking yokai who looks like a dude, but he's got like a head but no face, and then he bends over and he's just got an eye in his bum hole, which.
Man, those yokos know how to live.
A lot of fun. All right, now we need to regrettably go and read the unfortunate answers to Have You Ever Felt Like This from the dismal cluster of nut jobs we call fans. This first one is from Kaiba. Dear Charging Turtle and Wake Up Super. I accidentally stole something once. I was in Coles and I brought some bacon at the Coles deli, and I got a phone call. I was walking around Coles talking, and then I just walked out, forgetting I had the bacon. I was very surprised that the gatekeeper beeper things didn't go off. I ended up going back and paying for it. My friend used to work at Coles, and apparently their security is basically non-existent. Ever got yelled at by the principal? In primary school, the new principal was walking around the school, and I was playing tag/Tiggy, and I tackled someone near the sandpit. I didn't know who she was, and I got yelled at. Lol. I mean, if you're tackling someone in
Wait,
Tiggy, like that's.
Did you tackle the principal or someone random?
No, near the tackle someone.
Okay.
They're playing Tiggy, but like Tiggy's you're supposed to touch.
Yeah.
You know, it's Tiggy. It's not tackly.
No.
It's supposed to just spear cunts. You're breaking the rules. I hope the principal beat you. Ever had hair I didn't like? Well, when I was in high school, I tried to gel my hair. To get that spiky hair look that everyone had. I tried to gel my hair and it just didn't work. I even tried mousse and wax, but it just didn't work. My hair isn't good enough for gel or wax, apparently. I ended up straightening it, and that worked. That's a lot of effort to go to just to look like a goon. I'm kind of wondering, it's like straighten. It's like, what were you dealing with before? I'm assuming some kind of adorable Jufro. Or maybe he had those little Lord Fauntleroy, like, ringlets, you know? That's how I'm picturing Kyber now, actually. It's just like little sailor suit and like a
big
balloon.
lollipop.
Yeah, yeah. One of those like,
Swirly
pink and
ones.
whites, pink and white swirl. That's, okay, yeah, if you want to make some like fucking keep it classy fan art, that's, you can draw Kyber as little Lord Fauntleroy. I felt like this from a Keep It Classy fan. Have you ever stolen anything? Yes. You thief. Growing up, I was the good kid. I was nice to everyone. I worked as a volunteer janitor when I was 12.
A volunteer janitor? Excuse me? I feel you're going to have to write back to us and explain that in detail, because I've never heard anyone go, I was a volunteer janitor.
I mean, do they mean like just for the classroom?
I assume so.
Like it's got to be that. Otherwise, that feels like one of those American things where they trick the kids into doing work they can't afford a fucking custodian to do.
Okay, continue.
Even swearing was a line too far for me to cross. One day, another student referred to me as the kid who probably enjoys watching frozen chicken defrost. That's very funny. I found this funny years later. Good. It's very funny. That person, that's an excellent burn that kid got on you. And if you're still in touch with them on Facebook, tell him I want him to know. I don't know what about hearing it sent me into a grim mood. On the walk home, I stopped at a coffee shop chain, and after paying for my drink, I looked up at the tip jar. I was the only customer, and the two employees were facing away from me. I remember suddenly feeling sweaty. In a single breath, my hand darted into the tip jar, grabbed a single $1, and stuffed it into my pocket.
Damn.
After leaving with my drink, I felt extremely guilty.
Good.
Yeah.
So you fucking should.
This is what I love about like
steal like from the corporation. Like if you steal a Coke,
steal the
Coke's
coffee.
not gonna fucking hurt. But you took money out of these people's pockets.
Tip jars.
Yeah, that's
that's bad. That's terrible. You're an awful person. Like that, because like I don't mind if you just like steal from like
come and volunteer janitor at my house.
Walmart. You can steal from Walmart.
Yeah.
There's those the fucking Walton family, they're fucking criminals, and you should steal everything you fucking can from them. Hell, you could kick their door down and just drag them out and hang them, and I'd support that. But like you're nicking from a tip jar. No, some barista wasn't able to afford weed that afternoon.
If you're an American, that's even worse. I really hope you're not an American.
I mean, it has to have been because like who can grab a single $1 in a tip jar in Australia? Like, because that's changed. That's
just changed. Yeah, right. Damn, that person probably didn't eat that night.
Did you ever have a haircut you didn't like? Oh, okay, here's this answer. In Central California, you walk into a barber shop, ask for a haircut, they take a trimmer to your skull and call it a day. It's the reason all of us Mexicans look the same in some parts of Central California. Oh yeah, the bald head cholos. Yeah. No, it's great.
It is, yeah.
Because I'm a huge fan of a lot of like cholo rap. So I'm like old days like Cypress Hill, Psycho Realm, like Street Symphonies. Big fan of all that shit. And yeah, it's fucking crazy because like if you look at an old photo of like Sendog or like a photo of Big Duke or like any of these dudes, it's like they all collectively said, all right, we're going to shave our heads. Some of us will grow like a mustache and goatee combo, but only some. And we'll wear white shirts and like sometimes really, really baggy jeans. And that's it.
Stereotypes are fun.
Well, part of me thinks it's like a real clever way of fucking with the police if you're in a gang. Because it's like, how are you going to describe that cunt who stole your car? Literally the one dude.
Yeah.
Like that Hector guy that's like just fucking everywhere. It's so funny, maybe not, because I always thought it was like deliberate. And it's like, all right, there was just someone in a fucking California barbershop didn't know how to do the job. He was probably like robbing the place and just thought, oh, fuck it, I'll just do some, I'll do some styling while I'm here. And then just like every fucking, Central American and, Latin American that went in there was just like, oh.
This is how we look now.
Guess I'll go listen to some Cypress Hill. Fucking Black Sunday just came out. Good album. I prefer Temples of Boom. I think it's their best, but like, I like Cholo Goth, which is a bigger fucking genre than you'd think.
Which one's Insane in the Membrane on?
That's Black Sunday.
I like that one.
Yeah. Black Sunday is their big, like that was their breakout. Cypress Hill was their debut album a few years earlier. But yeah, then there was Black Sunday, which has like Insane of the Brain and Killer Man and like a bunch of other really popular songs. I do love Cypress Hill because they smoked enough weed to be like weirdly creative at times. Like they'll always have one song on an album that's just like got no swears in it and isn't about something completely bizarre. Like I think it's on, I'm not sure if it's unreleased or if it's on the original self-titled album. There's one called Ghost Rider, which is just where B-Real's a pirate. And it's literally like he's a pirate. That's just what the song's about. And then there's like Clash of the Titans, which is just them fucking reenacting the fucking plot of Clash of the Titans. Like, there's a lot of fun stuff. There's a lot of fun stuff when you dig into sort of like some rappers like weird little peccadillos and hobbies and stuff like that. Like Ice Cube's brother, Deltron 3030, absolutely great rapper. He did that song, Mr. Dobalina. The story behind that's fascinating. But he also did a whole song called Proto Culture, which is him rapping about really wanting a Sega Saturn and stuff like that. It's fucking great. So yeah, props to the Cholo culture. When I moved, I learned about stylists and never went back to the downtown bodega barbershops. Going forward, the visits to the downtown bodega were only to find Jarritos Mexican Cola, 2 for $1 back then.
What is a bodega?
A bodega's like, you know how we had those weird Vietnamese corner stores that were like, had stuff, but then they had like a dark corner of like weird stuff from Vietnam? It's basically that.
Right.
So, but like, in the States, they'd mingle a bit with like the Vietnamese bakeries and like the, food stores. So they do like food and like all these other side business stuff as well. They wouldn't just be like corner stores. Were you ever yelled at by a principal? Yes. I previously mentioned being a frozen chicken watcher. However, when I turned 16, I had been transferred to a new school. Starting fresh, I took a shot at a new personality, the preppy outgoing kid. That's risky business. Every morning, I would conduct the morning announcements over the school intercom. My recurring joke at the end of every announcement was about our principal's receding hairline. I remember him laughing about it the first time and even praising me. After the second week, he must have been having a bad day because I was called into his office. His tie was loose and his eyes looked tired. He looked at me for a long minute and said, "I'm the principal. Who the hell are you?" He told me to get to class and I left in a hurry.
That's fucking great.
That is amazing. I think about that day a lot. In retrospect, he may have been boozing in his office.
Fucking probably. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like having some idea of the state of like American, public schools, you probably will. It wasn't your fault, but that was just a.
I mean, it might.
The camel's back was broken earlier in the day.
This could have just been karma for stealing that dollar.
Yeah, just everything since has been that. I think.
Yeah. If you send us many dollars, your karma will be overridden.
Yeah, I have that ability.
Actually, we should start a karmic justice system. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We'll use my white Gabriel magic.
We need to go find Black Gabriel.
Yeah.
And then we need to find Brown Gabriel, and then we'll form the Trinity.
First of all, I'd like to get a couple of things out of the way. Regarding the funny names, I wasn't sure if you really didn't care for them or if you were just jokingly disregarding them. It now feels like the former, and for this, I apologize.
What?
No, we're just making fun of you. We don't care about the funny names.
Wait, who are we making fun of?
I don't know. Tim.
All right, Tim.
Yeah. The good news is, Tim, we didn't care enough to be bothered by it.
Secondly, you can call us whatever you fucking want. I don't care.
I don't give a shit. I want to take the opportunity to congratulate Aaron with his or her recent coming out as transgender. It's good to see you finding your true self.
Thank you.
Anyway, as usual, I'll stick to one question so you're not burdened with a speech. Yes, I have stolen something. Fucking bunch of thieves.
Was it my heart?
One time in high school, I accidentally stole a whole school dinner. Excellent. The dining hall was particularly busy that day, and I was deep in thought about something. Yeah, this is either in England or in America thing.
Okay, all right.
Without realizing, I walked right past the 2 tables where the unpleasant dinner ladies were sitting to take payment. These tables were currently mobbed by students, so nobody noticed. I didn't realize this until minutes later, and since I hated school, this didn't bother me. I walked out of the dining hall with extra money for the tuck shop.
Fuck yeah.
Tuck shop's very Australian, so I don't know what the fuck's going on there. Like, none of my schools have had dining halls or anything remotely close to that. In my schools, you brought food or you starved.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we had a tuck shop, but you got to pay.
Yeah. The lasagna in the tuck shop was like probably one of the best things you could get there. And the first ingredient was meat. And then next to that was the word beef in inverted commas. Which,
woofed.
Could have just left those out. I have felt like this. Hello, cunts. Long-time enjoyer of your content. First-time responder. Aaron, Cole, and Amber, fuck the haters. Gabe, been listening to you awful since the before times and had a lot of life. Please call me Zach. I like this podcast because you'll create a picture for me without having seen the show myself. Feel free to edit my bullshit down. Regarding guys desperately needing beers, I've seen some things that sound so outlandish as to be unbelievable. I could tell you some stories. A friend rocked a Liberty Spike mohawk briefly in the 80s. That's great. And it sounds really inconvenient. I felt like this. When I was about 6 years old, I stole a toy from the local store and my mum made me take it back and apologize to the manager. I cried and it made an impression on me that has made me rarely want to steal, even at times I was homeless. Shame is a hell of a thing. Thieves of opportunity are a big thing. The dollar store near my apartment is everything that someone might steal made to set off an alarm. Even stuff like deodorant and toothpaste. As mentioned, my hair situation these days is not great, but I need to wear a hat most of the year anyway to keep the sun out of my eyes. I used to get a buzz cut every year just out of practicality, and that has its own problems, re-skinheads that you can imagine. Yes, no, I can imagine that.
Mhm.
I just can't have a shaved head.
Yeah, no, I look like a criminal. And also, like, I want to be feminine, so...
Rocking the Sinead is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
I
have thought about shaving it and advertising on it, though.
Well, I did exactly the same thing. Like, I just didn't want to have to think about, like, what I look like, so I just buzz cut it. And then I got hit on by an actual fucking white supremacist.
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
thanks.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, well, that's got to go.
Yeah.
Where are we? I had a gnat fly in my ear as a kid, and yeah, it sucks. I killed it with a Q-tip and extracted it horrified. Yeah, but I've had very similar experiences to you in public school in eastern North Carolina. Oh, wow, NorCal. Graduated in 2006, middle of my class, but could have done so much better and disappointed everyone by not. Mental illness is a hell of a thing. I'm at a good place in my life now, but I've had a hard life and I've seen a lot of fucked up shit and met fucked up people along the way. Here's to surviving the rough times and celebrating the good. Love you, cunts. Zachariah Farrar.
Thanks, Zachariah. Just easy on the cunt language in North Cal, you might get in trouble.
North Carolina. I met a guy in the Woolworths who was like doing the fucking, he was working in the Woolworths and he had like the craziest slow southern drawl. And like, he was in there, every Sunday. And me and a friend of mine were always in there every Sunday. And one time Ben goes, "Where are you from? I got to know." And he's like, "Oh, South Carolina." and then we're like, "What are you doing here?" And he pauses for a second and goes, "Avoiding responsibility." And we laughed our asses off. It was like, "Welcome to Brisbane, champ." Just borrow in. No one will ever know. Just fucking while your life away here. Name, Steve. Age, 33. Location, UK, Southern England. Current humidity, sticky. Greetings, children of the twist.
That was great. I enjoyed that. Thanks, Steve.
I read it as written. I hope this electronic communication finds you in good spirits. I am a long-time admirer of your insightful views on the many social complexities of modern Australian life. Have you ever stolen anything? Outside of the odd sneaky one-piece sweet from the small corner shop in my school when I was 12 or so, the only times I've stolen have been for what I deem justified compensation for wrongs done. One example was when I was working a terrible retail job at W.H. Smith during Christmas 7-ish years ago. Smith's is a nationwide chain of newsagents. This one was located inside a shopping centre within a larger city, and inside at this particular shop, although not technically part of it, was the main branch of the post office. So it was fucking packed come Christmas. Queues of people trailing out through the shop trying to get to the understaffed counters to send their awkwardly shaped boxes that they couldn't quite jam into the post box outside. Now, I'm no stranger to hard work or having to interact with the unwashed masses, but see, I was working 2 months in arrears. 2 whole sodding months and no money and no help from the 4 or 5 other members of the staff.
How the fuck can they do that?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Insane.
It's 2 months.
Like, I can understand, like, oh, yeah, your pay is in a few days late. Like, here in Australia, that'd be like, okay.
Yeah, and like,
once in a blue fucking moon, okay.
Yeah, and I've worked for, like, cunts.
Yeah.
Like, just like, people.
Yeah.
Who you could, because, like, any idiot can get an ABN, and then you're just a business. And you can just have a place and go, yeah, come in here and do shit, and then you have to trust some fuckknuckle to pay you on time.
Yeah.
And that process is largely worked out. The idea that if like Coles didn't pay me for a day.
That'd be hell to pay.
Yeah.
They're a major fucking corporation. You know, like,
it's like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't know. 2 months is fucking
after
batshit.
a month,
Yeah.
I'd be like,
No,
pay
'cause,
me
like,
or I'm
I was
gone.
suspicious when it was just like justified compensation for wrongs done, because that's the kind of thing, you know, like I could see a really heavily autistic guy saying that before he abducts a baby that he was babysitting. Just like, that's one of those phrases that's phrasing that's so legalese and technical that you can apply that to anything, you know? It's just like, all right, why are you doing that?
Oh,
And it's like,
me.
I've been working without being paid for 2 fucking months. It's like, oh, eat shit. Yeah, I'd have been just taking money out of the till. 4 or 5 other members of staff. That's fucking insane. Constantly being approached by angry people complaining about the post office, which I couldn't do anything about because I was employed by W.H. Smith and not them. If they wanted an overpriced bar of chocolate instead, then I could have assisted. Anyway, one evening, I decided unprompted by anyone to clean the counters where the tills were. These desks were probably as old as the store and had all manner of secret compartments to hide the big grey box computers that once upon a 90s ran the terminals or odd holes to pass the ghosts of wiring through. Over the years, members of staff had dropped coins and even notes into these voids by mistake, and unable to finish them out again until there they remained until I got my grubby hands on them. If I remember correctly, it was £40 or something altogether, and as it had been already written off by this huge multi-million-pound company that had yet to even pay me minimum wage, I pocketed it. That's barely even stealing. You found.
Yeah.
That isn't stealing.
You know, if someone goes, hey, I dropped like $1 down there, fuck it, I can't get it anymore. That's up for grabs.
Yeah.
Like,
that's, you know.
as soon as you're like, nah, I don't want it.
First in, best dressed. I mean, I would have figured out something else to steal as well.
I was just taking everything. Just walk out with fucking as much as you can.
2 fucking months.
2 months. Dude.
Fucking Jesus wept. Would reply to the other 2 questions, but I'm sure this has gone on a bit too long as it is. I hope that sparks some discussion on the moral implications of stealing from asshole companies. Oh yeah, no, 100%, completely. Like steal from them. Because they steal from you constantly. Like that's a reality. Go look into wage theft. Looking at how much stuff is just stolen from fucking employees. And that's before we even, you know, get to the use of, like, public utilities to offset, like, their fucking costs. Like, they underpay fucking people, and then those people have to use, like, particularly in the States and, like, Walmart.
Yeah.
They underpay them, and they have to use, like, you know, food stamps to live.
Yeah.
It's like, you should be paying these
You
people
have a
more.
job.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't have to, you shouldn't need these stamps to live. Like, this is ridiculous.
That's Walmart exploiting the fact that they can put you onto the public purse to not pay you a living fucking wage. Which is crazy considering the fucking places Walmarts are in. Like, you know, you'd think you'd be able to afford at least rent in a fucking Walmart town, you know? Although I say that, it's probably a good idea that they don't, because they'll try to make, like, I could see Walmart just going, okay, we've got, like, you know, cheap fucking apartments at Walmart for you now.
Wall City.
Yeah.
Welcome to Wall City. What happened to Mart? Oh, that's only one of our subsidiaries.
Welcome to the walled city.
It's like that game, Batman Arkham City, except it's Batman Walmart City.
You
know, what happened, Batman? Is the Joker lose? No, the CEO of Walmart came in and bought it off Gotham. What?
Dear Amber and Gabriel, have you ever had a haircut you've regretted? Yes, I have. I cut my hair with a set of electric clippers because it's cheap and I look presentable with short hair.
Ooh.
Thanks to an unfortunate no-warning sneeze when I was trimming around an ear without any guard on the blade, I took a strip of hair on the side of my own head down to the scalp.
Oh.
I'm sure someone properly trained in hair dynamics could have blended it, but I don't have that training, and it was less to worry just to take it all off so it would grow back evenly.
You should have just stuck the hair back on with some glue.
Bit of glue stick, dab it on. I didn't think far enough ahead to realize that my pasty white scalp will get sunburn if someone gave me a stern look. So it's my first exposure to the actual sun, turning it bright pink with an alarming swiftness. Were you ever yelled at by the principal? Multiple times in elementary school. I'm autistic, and at the time I had some difficulties with the other kids being a little malicious shits. And I caused a lot of fights in the name of getting the other kids to leave me alone. It's a miracle and a testament to my principal's patience that I wasn't expelled, but I guess I also never actually injured anyone either. It was the early 90s, things were different then. Have you ever stolen something? Double answer. I stole a lump of real modeling clay when I was in kindergarten because it fascinated me how it was so dense and hard and almost entirely unlike Play-Doh. See above, autistic. I felt bad about it later, but not bad enough to want to actually return it to the classroom. In hindsight, I wasn't above being a little shit either.
I love that. I love you. Thank you. This is a great email.
The second answer. I once stole another man's sense of pride in his physique, and this takes some context, for I was just being a bit dickish.
I thought you were just going to say I stole another man.
I borrowed a man! I spent some years as a janitor in a decent-sized office building.
Fucking what's with the janitors today?
I love that we've cornered the janitor market. And a co-worker of mine, I'll call him Muscles, always bragged about how many push-ups he could do and how much he could bench. In all honesty, his arms and shoulders were pretty jacked. He didn't develop anything else quite so much, though, so his legs and core were relatively spindly. He occasionally made cracks about me being somewhat overweight, especially compared to him. One night, the hydraulic compactor for the building's paper recycling, the recycling company periodically came by, and to get the resulting brick made of several days' paper, was on the blink. So the day's take of waste paper was regrettably going to have to be in the dumpster for regular trash. Muscles was the recycling guy, and he was grabbing handfuls of loose paper and throwing it into the bin because he said the bin was too heavy to lift and dump directly. To be fair, those big rolling bins were something like 1.5 meters long by 1 meter wide and probably 1 meter tall, with wheels so you could roll them from floor to floor via the elevators. The buildings were pretty large, and would fill a single bin with paper most nights. It'd easily be 70 to 100 kilos, plus, however much the heavy plastic bin itself weighed. He could have been killing time, so he didn't really have to do anything else in the 45 or so minutes left on the shift, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say it was probably too much weight for him to safely handle at once. I was the guy pulling the regular trash that night and had more to do before going home, and Muscles was blocking my way since he parked his bin square against the dumpster. He had a problem with me, and I him, truth be told, but he told me I'd have to wait on him to finish before I could do stuff because, as he put it, he didn't want to be hit in the face with the garbage bag on the way past him. I was inclined to wait and have my aim insulted, so I hip-checked him aside, grabbed the ends of his bin and lifted it, mostly with my legs, but the back had to get involved there too, until I could hook the edge of the lip on the dumpster. I adjusted my hands down until I could lift the bottom edge and tilt the paper into the dumpster directly. Then I set the bin back down, pushed it aside, and got to throw my garbage into the dumpster. An unhappy Muscles watched this and then wanted to know what my workout was, and I truthfully told him I didn't have one. I just did stuff. My boss later told me Muscles was convinced I was lying about not having worked out, and furthermore, Muscles was disgruntled about having our weight difference so starkly illustrated in my favor for once. That went longer than I thought. My apologies to Gabriel. You both take care and look forward to your next episode. It's foreign legs, man.
What was the fucking point of that story? He was upset at you that you lifted more than him.
Yeah.
So he complained.
Well, not complained and took it to HR, but was just going, man, he's got to be lying about not.
That's just such a weird thing to do.
Well, no, you'll see this occasionally with guys that do that thing where they just work out arms.
Yeah.
And it's okay, look, you go look at the power lifters. Because when you lift something, you're connecting an object to the ground via your body. And so the legs, and particularly the core, are very important parts of that. You're not just hoinking it up with the fucking back and shoulders.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's if you get low, if you get under something, you'd be surprised if you can fucking lift. Greetings, Bill Paxton and the Twisters. I miss Bill Paxton. You can call me by my actual name. Okay, Miko. But if this email does not disclose it, you can call me Gavlin or Gord. Too bad, Miko. Have you ever stolen anything?
Wait, Gord? Are you in my stomach? Get out!
Gourd.
Oh.
So it's the fucking, when you turn a pumpkin into a bottle. A short while ago, I was in the mood for some avocado pasta, but was lacking the ingredients. I had to walk to the store in the rain, and on my way there, a car ran over a puddle, splashing me soaking wet. When I got to the store, I grabbed some avocados and went over to the scale to weigh them, since you pay for them by the kilo. I pressed the button for avocados and got the price for cauliflower instead, which would have made my purchase significantly cheaper. I repeated the process and got the same result. I was still mad about the splash and wanted to go home, so I thought that instead of checking with the store staff the real price, I'd pay the price the machine gave me. I think I deserved some comic payback in the form of discount avocados, even though it was definitely stealing by not paying the full price. Lock me up and throw away the key. I mean, you tried. If you push the button again...
You didn't take $1 out of a tip jar, all I'm saying.
And look, if you try, and all that happens is you fucking, the Coles is out a few cents for their fucking, shit.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Ever had hair you weren't happy with? No. Although my hairline is receding with gusto and I can't keep hiding it forever. When it becomes apparent, I will go scorched earth and shave it all. I will not have luscious hair anymore, but at least I will attract some white supremacist bitches a la Gabriel's dating tips. I mean, look,
you can get a wig.
I mean, the thing is I have that fucking face. I'm fucking Scotch, Irish, and Norse. So that's what the fucking, chinless fucking American white supremacist view is the perfect man. And, that does make me feel handsome, but also it's an embarrassing worldview. Imagine thinking everything good about you was genetic and not anything that you were responsible for.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's so fucking funny. Were you ever yelled at by the principal? Not yelled at per se, since my school principal was a pretty mellow dude. One time during recess, I was chatting with my friends when this tiny flamboyant gay stereotype kid appeared out of left field and kneed me in the balls. He liked you. His tiny knee had limited impact, however, so I just picked him up and slammed him into the ground. A teacher saw this and had us sent to the principal's office for a talk. We did the usual now shake hands, lame school conflict solving routine, and we both got off scot-free. I never heard the reason why the kid forcibly touched my special area with the tip of his knee. Love the podcast and best wishing to Aaron, Gabe, Gabe's dad, Aaron's daughter, the tuba kid, and the cyst that lives in Aaron's dad's throat.
Don't wish good for that. I fucking hope it gets bigger.
Oh, cysty. All right. Where are we? Come on, notes. Reload, damn you. Okay, so remember that is if you want us to read your terrible answers and make fun of you on the internet, remember to send your emails to I have felt like this it's all lowercase. I have felt like this, no spacing or anything, all one word, at yahoo.com. And you can tell us what your, horrible, sad life is like. And the questions are today, have you ever felt like this? Have you ever been bullied for a weird physical thing or had someone at school who was? Have you ever acted in a school play or anything else? What was your first kiss? And lastly, how do you think mersex works?
Mercilessly.
Ah.
You can find us on the internet. You can find me at Ambercules.
And you can find me at Gabriel on God without an E on the end, even though on God usually, has the E on the end. In this situation, it doesn't.
Just suck it up, all right?
And we're at keepitclassy.com, where you can find everything and the things that I write and the games Aaron plays, or Amber plays, and the fucking whatever the else shit that we do.
Yay, we do things. We'll see you next time. I hope you enjoy.
Toodle fucking-oo.
Bye.